Hey guys, welcome back in Be. I wanted to do a video. It's kind of as thanks and it's kind of a reply to a lot of the stuff I've seen lately, but I wanted to do a video about Odin and his ability to adapt to people and his compassion, because it seems like that is a part of Odin that's largely overlooked in heathenry and paganism. There's so much emphasis on Odin the warrior, and there's nothing wrong with honoring his warrior path, or Odin the, more ferocious battlefield aspects that some people will actually laugh in your face if you say that Odin's capable of kindness and compassion and being gentle. In fact, I read an article. It was actually by another Lokean that laughed at the idea of Odin being compassionate and kind. And actually, I know from personal history, all my life, it's been the compassionate, kind part of Odin that I've been graced to deal with. I deal with, what I believe to be the Wanderer, and also to be the, the Lord of the Gallows. But he's never been anything but compassionate towards me. I love, my personal history. I grew up in an extremely, extremely abusive household, and it was Loki and Odin that helped me hang on every day. It was Odin and Loki who taught me that real men are not like that. Real men don't hit or abuse children. Real men don't abuse women. That your real family should not be a bunch of messed up people that permit predation of children in a family. I had to have gods teach me how to be human. I had to have gods teach me how to not fear humans. There's a game called, you guys might not know it, but called Five Nights at Candy's 3, and part of it has a lot to do with closets, and I actually can't play that game because it just, every time I see it, it triggers memories. A lot of my childhood I survived because I learned how to hide in closets. I learned how to hide in secret, faraway places. I learned how to not trigger my father, and basically that had to do with being as quiet as possible, being as invisible and non-human as possible, and not having any emotions. If you cried, it just made it 10 times worse. You really got abused then. And it took Odin and Loki both to help me survive that. It took the gods to help me make it through that. And the reason why I stayed in that situation was that was the place for me. I know if there had been any possible better place, it would have gotten me to a better place. And so as horrific as that place was, in the long run, they were always with me. Sometimes the gods, for whatever reason, can't remove us from, the horror that we're living through, but they can get us through it. And Odin's actually been the one to teach me it's okay to cry. And it's okay to still be angry and sad and upset. And it's okay to be hateful and mad, because you don't have to honor someone. And he's been emphatic on that. He's like, you never have to honor an abuser. You never have to honor someone that treated you less than human. He's never had me honor thy mother and father. He's been like, no, when no parent, no human does that to a child. And Odin's been the one that still to this day, when I have to deal with the past or deal with the trauma that comes up, Odin will be the one to hold me. And he'll be like, it's okay, you can cry. And Odin is the one, even though Ogu's my head. He's been the one to say, you've been through enough wars. You don't have to live up to this stereotypical warrior mindset. You've already been on the battlefield. You've been through enough trauma. Because when you go through that for decades, because my family's always been super abusive, and you're so broken down to the point where you choose to stay around and love and support abusive people because that's all you've known. Odin's been the one that had to deprogram me, along with Loki. It's not that Loki wasn't doing, his part as well, but Odin's the one that's, been on the battlefield, and he's been in war, and he knows what it looks like when people completely break down to the part where they're not even human anymore. And he's the one that has the skill to reach in and rescue you and show compassion and show kindness. In a lot of ways, he'll treat me like I'm shell-shocked, because in a lot of ways, I can be. It's not something that comes up every day, but when the abuse does come up, when something triggers a memory from the past, I remember all I've been through, because I did a great job of blocking out most of my childhood, but, as you get older, sometimes the memories come back. Odin is the one that's always there and tells me it's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry, and it's okay to feel whatever else I feel. He's never been... I'm not saying he doesn't have ferocious aspect or warrior aspect. He can, and he can show those to me in a way that, he's there to protect me. But he's never been cruel to me. Odin's never abused me like humans did. He's never once hit me. Loki's never hit me. None of my gods have ever hit me, for the record. They've never abused me like humans did. They've never starved me. They've never left me with pedophiles or anything like that. Your gods won't do that to you. And Odin is the one that can help you heal. And I never had that paternal figure from my father. My father was so messed up. I thought that's what, a father was supposed to be: abusive and cruel and domineering, and to break your spirit and to not let you have emotions. And Odin and Loki both had to be the ones to teach me that's not what a real man is. That's not what a real man does to people. It doesn't systematically break them down and just totally shatter and abuse them. They were the only men I had to look up to. And I didn't know they were Odin and Loki at the time, but they were the only men I had to look up to in my life. And Odin has been nothing but kind and compassionate and loving. And he's never blamed me. He does not blame the victim. He never blames the victim. And so I'm very deeply passionate and upset when I see people portray him as this monster. And Loki gets just as upset, because Loki will always be the one to make sure that I love and honor Odin. And Odin will always be the one to make sure I love and honor Loki. I've never seen them show anything but respect and love and support for each other. I mean, take all the stories what you will. I've never known them to, whether or not the stories happen, I've never known them to let that get in the way of making sure that I honor and love the other one. In fact, they're both emphatic to never take what's happened between the two of them, or I think's happened between the two of them, as an excuse to, alienate the other. And they've both been emphatic about that, because Odin's never shown anything but love towards me. And Loki's never shown anything but love towards me. And I just kind of wanted to make the video. I'm trying not to cry, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make the video because I think that when we forget about Odin's compassion, we lose a wonderful part of him. We lose that compassionate part. We lose that part that wept for Balder. We lose that part that has compassion and love towards humankind. He's been portrayed most recently, and I don't know what's caught on in heathenry, is this, this heartless monster that hates humans and he's only out to save his own skin, and all these horrible things people say about him. And Odin will just look at me and say, you don't believe any of this nonsense, do you? And, he's been the one to have to teach me that he's not this monster people portray him as. He's not this, it's like, I blame Gaiman for a lot of this. He's not this predator of mankind that a lot of people like to show him off as. I mean, that's just absolutely abhorrent. And that's not who Odin is at all. He's not this monster waiting to get you. He's not, take this the right way if you're Christian, he's not Yahweh. He's not waiting to get you. He's not rubbing his hands together and can't wait to punish you or something in the afterlife. That's not the All-Father. That's not how he's like. You know, he's not insane, he's not cruel, he's not abusive. And we do have to remember that he's loving and that he's kind. That he's a father and a grandfather, and he's, you know, he loves women. Well, depending on how you look at it, he loves people of a lot of paths. And he, you know, he's a lover, and he's a provider, and he's a father, and a leader. And if I ever learned anything about being good and compassionate and noble and kind, I learned it from Odin, I learned it from Loki, I didn't learn it from human beings. So I just kind of wanted to make the video, as hard as it was, kind of make it in thanks to them, because I kind of get sick and tired of some of the abuse people throw at the All-Father. People will excuse all sorts of horrible abusive behavior because they'll say, oh, the All-Father did worse, and that's just absolutely abhorrent to say of your God. I mean, if your God's supposed to be your role model to look up to, you should never do that to your God. That is absolutely disrespectful and disgusting. And so I just wanted to make a video to speak out on Odin's behalf, because it seems to me that, you know, far too many people won't these days. Far too many people only want to believe the very worst of Odin, and that robs you of this wonderful, loving, nurturing, protective God. And, you know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Odin and his compassion and teaching me to trust humans and to trust gods, and to teach me that it was okay to be loved and protected and taken care of. So, I know it's not been the easiest video for you guys to see, but, I am pretty sensitive towards how people treat him because of that, because I usually don't talk about the abuse, but, you know, Odin is the one that helped me survive it. Odin and Loki and the others, of course, you know, Thor, and, you know, thanks be to all of them. And, yeah, that's about it. But he really is this kind, wonderful, nurturing God. You don't have to fear him. Odin will give us what he knows is best for us. And we're very lucky and fortunate to have such a wonderful God to work with. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.